your greatness was your love. Your greatness was your given word when you said yes to the Lord.
What if Mary had said no to the angel Gabriel? Could the angel Gabriel have nagged or bullied Mary into accepting? No, because compulsion is not God's way. For Mary's consent to the incarnation to make sense, Mary had to have not only full freedom, but also full power. Her response had to make a difference. Some people try to have it both ways. They maintain that God's infinite love for the world means that it would still have been saved by some other wonderful act of love. I appreciate the beauty of that sentiment, and it is indeed true that there are no limits to God's love. But this idea comes very close to saying that Mary didn't really have any choice. On the other hand, beautiful though it is, it brings a complete invention of which we have no knowledge whatsoever. What would that other wonderful act of love have been? Let me try to explain it like this. Every human act and every act of love, even the smallest, has consequences. Every time I do anything, however tiny, it means that I do not do something else. The fact that I chose to record this talk means that I did not choose to spend this 5 minutes watching television or playing a computer game. What if never works with God? We do not know what would have happened if Mary had said no. But because she said yes, we don't need to know. There is nothing to know about all the other things which might have come into being at that moment, but never did. Even God the Father knows nothing about it. The other big question about the Annunciation is usually forgotten, which is a pity, because it's more interesting for us as we live our lives. Mary had to be aware of the nature of the decision she was taking, of what the question meant and what her answer would mean. If she was not aware, her yes would have been nothing but passive acquiescence. I do it because it's God who asks. On the other hand, if she had been fully aware of her responsibility for the future of billions of human beings, she would surely have been crushed by that knowledge and could not have made a decision. The size of the decision had to be moderated without altering its nature, or else Mary's power to decide had to be strengthened without making it biased, so that the fate of the human race could be truly and freely decided. Whichever way it was, that was a miracle. Oddly enough, some people will find this story familiar. Maybe you will, if you reflect on your own experience. Were you ever faced with a situation where you had to make a life-changing decision? This kind of choice rarely arises more than once or maybe twice in a lifetime. All the possible consequences come to your mind, the risks involved. What about my family? What about all the other hopes and plans that I had? Anxiety about the consequences so often stops us from doing something. It is like standing on a high mountain ridge, separating two different futures. Which way will I go? Down this side or down that side? And yet, just sometimes, God intervenes, not to swing the decision one way or the other, or to hide the view, but to preserve you from vertigo, to save you from feeling dizzy, to clear your view. You get a moment of clarity, and you are able to cope. You make your decision. This is a way for God to turn divine power and human weakness into divine weakness and human power for just a moment. As I said, it doesn't happen often, and it doesn't happen to everyone. But maybe I'm wrong. It's hard to tell because this isn't something that people talk to each other about much. In any case, Mary's being able to answer Gabriel at all is the first miracle of the Annunciation. The next talk will be about the significance of the fact that Mary was a virgin.